how do you balance out the fact that there are so many people you're connected with across business, across creative pursuits, across everything, and in life in general? How does that filter work for you?
So, see the first part of what you said, which is the fact that we meet so many people, and should we? We should, because you never know who is that hidden treasure. Firstly, so if you have the time available, meet as many people as you can. How can you place a filter? The filter is simple. On a LinkedIn, I would be getting 10 or 15 requests every day, many that I don't accept. The ones I don't accept, I filter by profile. Private banking out because I know the person wants to reach out saying, will you invest with us? Will you do the following or whatever one? Startup, right? Now, because our profiles say that we invest in startups, many people reach out to you. You're a magnet for those kind of people. But then filter. Okay, startup, but what kind of startup? If it's fintech, I don't know much about fintech. I'm really not interested. I invest in startups because I believe that they further what I can't do. Genuinely, I have no other reason. Or I invest because Rajesh Soni, who's a friend and a mentor in the investment space, and another couple of people, Dinesh Agarwal, etc. This group is investing, and I feel their thesis is right, and that is purely a speculative investment based on knowing those people. So you get all these kind of requests that come in. I love it when I get an email. Number one, if the email jumps out at me. I get 100 emails, a day of various kinds. I have a story, मेरे पास idea है, इसको fund कर दीजिए, can you give me some time? I know you're coming for this conference or whatever. Again, I'm looking for something. Number one, can that email jump out at me? Right? I mean, I often talk about this one girl called Radhika who reached out to me during the pandemic early days. And the email subject was, you've got a happy mail. Now, it just, see, look at it. It put a smile. I read it and I was like, this is going to be a fun. And the mail had a lot of respect, which was that the person had done actual research and said, you did this and you built this with Commune and you did this with your independent career. I want to take an interview. I want 30 minutes of your time. Again, very clear. Right? Clarity is something which we very often lack in communication. We do communication to fill space. Again, I look for communication that has clarity, which again is something that creatively stands out. If it's creative and it stands out, I mean, an audio engineer reached out to me once with something, but he sent me a clip. He said, this is something that I've recorded. I want you to hear it. It took me 30 seconds, but it was so good. I said, let me do it. So the first thing is, don't deny the connections. Have a base level filter, right? Grammar theek hai ki nahi hai. Sorry, And very often, we have a little bit of a bias because obviously we're English educated, but मुझे कोई हिंदी में भी लिखता है, मुझे कोई problem नहीं है.
And you also now have the tools to be able to correct that grammar.
बिल्कुल, right? So I'm just saying, have you taken enough? Like the other day, I got this email, from one of these creator networks, right? Dear Roshan, blah, 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 we love your content. It all says, we love your content. Would you like to do the following? We've got a set of women's handbags that we promote. I said, yaar, ye to cut paste hai.
What are you going to do with him?
No, because obviously they have not. They've just taken a profile of people who've got X number of followers plus, and they've sent it out.
Yeah.
The second thing in that was that where the email had to be, where the email subject was, the software had generated a dash which said insert the person's name and then something. Varun, this is for you. That person had forgotten to fill that first part. So instead of my name, it said XX. So, again, I realized that you haven't done your basics.
Yeah.
So build that filter. Once you build these connections, again, how do you file away people's names? Now, as I've crossed the 50 mark, I've started forgetting. Right? Sometimes I look at a name, I'm like, who is this person?
I've been like that since I was 30, so I'm not blaming.
So what do I do now? I start writing niche context kya hai? What is this person a subject expert on? What is this person going to help me with? How did I connect with this person? I need that information today. Early days I didn't, but now I do because the connections are so many.
Yeah.
Now you've got a universe filled with stars. Now comes your role, which is, by connecting these stars, what constellation can I make? That is our beauty. Today, the more you make the connections, right, the more dots they are, the more high definition the image. So the more the dots, the more the inputs, the more your contact list is huge, the more high definition your worldview is. Now you need to decide, if I connect A with B and C, it will lead to X. That is virtuous connections,
Yeah.
right? Just connections is, I've got 100,000 people. So what?
Yeah.
What do they do?
Yeah.
So I'm saying connect with as many as you can with a base filter. File them away under what they can do for you. Right? XYZ. No problem writing strategist. XYZ. Content creator. Editor. Whatever. Likh do na. File it away in a manner that you remember.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to make sense to anyone else.
Yeah.
But once you've done that, you'll have this. Then over a period of time, when an opportunity arises, reach out to a bunch of them. See who responds. Those who don't respond, you can file away as saying, these are not, they're known, good to know, but not useful.
Yeah.
So then your useful circle keeps becoming smaller, and then that is the network that you really want to spend time with.
As you've spoken about all this, it keeps coming to my mind. I've always wondered this, right? Because when I look at all the things that you do, from multiple businesses, creative endeavors, personal creative projects, I've always wondered, how do you structure this? And this makes sense because at some point you are not putting all the pressure on your mind to remember everything at that instinctive moment, make those connections. You're saying, 1 second, I will systemize it. I'll put it down on paper. So I don't have to load my mind with what can be on a sheet of paper, and I can just literally focus my mind on the actual thing it has to focus on right now. Did that make you rethink things? If it did, make sure you check out the full episode.